All right. So we are on to the 11th chakra. And so we'll start reading, and then as we read, we can discuss. And please chime in, if you have anything to share or any comments or questions. So as you begin this chapter, I invite you to meditate for a few minutes on the meaning of these words, life and existence. So as we are, progressing spiritually, this both the whole understanding is changing, right? So what is life? For any, sentient being, life is all about it's how it is experiencing it. Each one of us are experiencing different things in life and in different phases of life, right? So from our childhood to the young adults, and then the adulthood, and then the old age, uh, you know as long as we are living, we are going through all that we are going through is an experience. Everything from, tasting the food to experiencing life, interacting with people, and even meditating, we talk about experiencing. Then, when it comes to existence, so what is the meaning of this existence, right? So, how do you think of existence? So, then again, this existence at many levels, many perspectives, many dimensions we are looking at. At a very mundane level, our existence is all about our body and our thinking, right? That's why they say, cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. So it's all about perception, thinking, and how we see this life. And then, so that's why existence and life go together. Then we talk about the higher, the creator, what we call God. What is the existence of God? So, even at the godly level, there is a manifested realm and there is an unmanifested realm, or the higher realm. Even the higher realm goes beyond manifest and unmanifest. In one of the books, Babuji mentioned we meditate on the heart because it connects us from this manifest state to the unmanifest state. That is why the heart. Even the symbol of cross denotes symbolically, it is saying it is an intersection, this point, intersection between manifest and unmanifest. So that's why there is a great deal of understanding on this existence and then beyond existence. So once we are thinking of beyond existence, it cannot say it is, you cannot say it is not. So you cannot say God is and God is not. For our convenience, not only convenience, because there are so many great teachers, existed in the past, and they have given us direction, they have given us guidance, and sometimes we give, what should I say, we sort of treat them as godly incarnations, correct? I mean, so the whole purpose of this existence is to reach that state where all these past masters have reached, whether it's Jesus, whether it's Buddha, whether it's Lao Tzu, or coming to heartfulness, we talk about Babuji, Lalaji. So they have proven to us that there is a higher existence, and a human, incarnated human, can perceive those states, and we can go beyond existence. So that's why this existence will go deeper and subtler as we, as much as we can think about or meditate on. So that's why, what are we meditating on? The divine presence within us. And how does the divine presence feel like? How do you experience it? And what is the feeling of that experiencing the divine within, which is subtle, and according to the Indian scriptures, that which cannot be experienced, that which cannot be felt, that you cannot say it exists, you cannot say it does not exist. Those existential words does not apply to that divine. Now, on that which we are meditating on, so how do you even think of that experience? That's why many times we don't know what to perceive in meditation. So, all that we can think of is how my mind is functioning while I am meditating. Oh, I have lots of thoughts in my meditation today, or I have no thoughts in my meditation today, or I felt some tingling sensation at this point and that point. There's so many. I felt uh, some heat going through my forehead. So we describe our experiences all the way to the mental realm, but the real experience is taking place even beyond our consciousness. We bring it down to the physical and mental realm because that's what we have mastered. So that's why a true way of perceiving meditation is to basically become a neutral, become a witness to what's happening. So when we go into a witness state, a witness can be done from a mental state. Witness can only happen from a conscious state. Then our definition of this experiencing whatever we are experiencing in meditation changes. And slowly it refines. But even after 20, 30 years of meditation, if I am saying I have no thoughts in my meditation today, or I have lots of thoughts, then our observation limit parameter has not changed, right? So it's very important to understand these ideas and concepts and basically apply them. Last week I'm with another group which I do, Gita studies and Indian scriptures. So they're asking about how do we implement these teachings of Indian scriptures in our life. I said, suppose a kid playing with a toy car. He'll be pushing the car around and making this sound noise, zoom, 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 and then they're enjoying that, playing with the car. And the kid will look at his dad and says, "I can drive the car better than you." Okay. So the driving the car for that kid and driving the car for the adult, even though the words are the same, it means different. So, a lot of times when we are reading these great books from our masters, whether it's Bible, whether it's Gita, or whether it's Babaji's works, we are translating them to our own language and trying to implement them how the way we translate it. Like the kid, translation of driving is very different than the adult driving the car. So each one is implementing and they are bringing it to the practice, but what they are bringing it to the practice is only according to their perception of what it means. So that is why the whole idea is that we have to go beyond our own faculties, perceptions. That's when we see life differently, and that's when we see our existence differently. So it is essential to understand this part. Otherwise, some people say, oh, if I'm serving the mission, I mean, it's enough. Or if I'm devoted, it's enough. If I'm dedicated, it's enough. If I'm practicing regularly, it's enough. Yes, I mean, we are doing it from what state? What state of understanding? Am I using my own translation? Or am I really going to the words which are spoken from a level? So where I'm basically listening to exact uh, purport behind those words. So it's very, I mean, everything, whatever. If I just like the kid thinking about driving the car, that's his perception of driving the car, and he's 100% right. So whatever the perception we are stuck in, that's always right. And rest everything doesn't seem right. Then we use all these good words. Oh, I accept it. So what are we accepting? We are accepting something that we does not feel right. So is that acceptance? See the word acceptance now translated differently. Okay. So it's very important to create the right approach, higher approach. And that's why do not believe anything. Anything we believe is always, is a very narrow perspective. So whatever we believe, I mean, until that point, and that's how I understood, and always think that there is more to it. So the moment you think there is more to it, you're not stuck with your belief. Okay. So let's continue the reading. So describing experiences is a tricky affair. It's like describing a rainbow. Anyone who has seen the rainbow can attest to its beauty and grandeur. But to put it into words is a challenge. A regular journaling helps you to develop the vocabulary to put it into words and what is felt in depth of the heart. So that's why, this journaling is introduced in our system. And it is important to journal, because like the Chinese proverb says, right? If a tree fell in the forest and then no one to see it, no tree fell. That means if we don't journal our practice, that means practice did not take place. That's how important journaling is. So even if you do it, weekly once, if not daily, have that journal, put your perspective into it. It's not that I have to say, oh, today I have lots of thoughts in my meditation. It doesn't add any value to your journal. Go into your deep feeling, deep experience. Even if you did not felt anything deep, write down, I did not feel anything deep. But I had lots of thoughts or no thoughts is not adding any value to your journal. Okay. So in my understanding, existence is eternal. Of course, existence is eternal, and like I was showing you last time, a life is only a blip in this eternal line, and this is how the life goes on, right? So, and existence is eternal, and life is only a blip, because the life we see it as a manifested entity, sentient being. That's it. So once my life ends, then I go into this unmanifest state, and then I manifest again. So your body has a life and your soul has an existence. A hint that, so that's what we are talking about. Existence goes much deeper. Life is only an experience, correct? So a hint that you have completed the journey at the 10th chakra is a realization that there is eternal universal existence. Because once we come in contact with the soul, then the experience of this eternal starts happening. And then we feel that universal existence. So it becomes very natural. So I feel the whole existence, the universe is part of my body, right? So that's when, from a normal bodily existence, we transcend into the universal existence. So everything becomes part of us. So there is no you and me. There's only one, this higher existence. So the mind is transcending to that state. So now we are no longer perceiving things from a mental realm, but from a higher realm. And the whole meaning of this existence changes. So in your heart, you feel the universal existence and feel its flow from the center. Whatever shapes, forms, and colors life may take, they all flow in the continuum of existence. So while lives can be many, existence is but one. You see, that's important. While lives can be many, existence is only one. So that's why this whole concept of non duality is here what we are expressing, what this book is expressing. So, what is duality? Duality is I am and the higher. So, the lower and the higher, that is the duality. When the lower and higher tend to become one, then you cannot say which is lower and which is higher. So, that barrier basically dissolves. Right now, all our perception is in a container, in a barrier. There are barriers, many barriers. We have built over it. But as we are progressing, all these barriers dissolve. When there is all these barriers dissolve, then how can you say there is no border to say this other side? That's why, you know, when we talk about meditation, we talk about we are going inside. So, what is inside? What is inside? Because I'm looking at my body, and external to my body is outside, internal to my body is inside. But which inside are we going in? So when this barrier is removed, what is inside and what is outside? Everything is the same. So it becomes one. So this inside is only to kind of bring your mind to a certain focus. Otherwise, there is no inside. You see? So that's why when we are meditating on, we are only saying about the divine presence, and then we are waiting. So there also this whole idea of inside and outside goes away once we start connecting with this divine essence. So you knew of this before, but at the 10th chakra, that means we already start experiencing this godly realm. So you have the conviction of your experience. You know that you are eternity itself. So when this feeling matures, then you are ready to plunge into the 11th chakra. See, that's why when we are observing the conditions, we lot of times when you hear people talking about their meditational experiences, they mystify it. Okay, because one thing I would say, if the experience is real or your own projection, the way to distinguish that is a true experience must leave a deeper condition in you. And then you're not going to talk much about it to anyone because you don't know how to express it. Only thing you can say is, I felt a deep condition. That's a true experience. Rest all the experiences we talk about, oh, today Babuji came in my meditation, Lalaji came, they both merge into one. So many mystical experiences you hear. But one question when we go through such experience, only one question we should ask. Did it leave any condition upon me? If the answer is yes, and if you're not talking too much about it, then it is the real one. You know. See, what is very precious to us, we don't talk about it much. Are we going to talk about, your bank balance to everyone you meet? Because it's precious to you, you don't want to express it. You know. So whatever is precious to us, we want to keep it to ourselves. So if I am talking about my devotion to the God all the time, then the God is not precious to me. All my devotion is fake. So that's why the real master, the feeling, the connection of the master is very precious. The more we talk about it, the more we dilute it. So it's very important. Understand this and think about it. Okay. So when this feeling matures, then you are ready to plunge into the 11th chakra. So in our next session, we kind of dive deep into this concept, the experiences, the conditions we experience at the 11th chakra. So even though we covered the first two paragraphs last week, and I felt that we should touch upon it again to kind of uh, set a good understanding so that we sort of perceive where we are going. So I'll stop here for any comments or questions or anything you want to share.
So you're saying that your natural progression is basically something that you cannot express, that you just know that something is happening, but you don't know what it is.
Correct. That's how it's going to be. Anything which is tangible cannot be higher than you. Anything which can come into your mental grip cannot be higher than you.
Well, then as you progress, there's more and more you don't know then, right?
Of course. That is why journey into the unknown is spirituality. It is always unknown, but you know there is something. That's what anchors you. Otherwise, it's blah. I mean, there is nothing to feel, nothing to talk about, nothing to cherish about. But that anchor sorts of keeps pulling you because it kind of gives you that idea there is something and there is something you are touching on, connecting to, that something touching you. but you cannot put a finger on it. That's what keeps you going. And in that keep going is what we call the craving. So sometimes when we hear the word craving, we translate it to what we know already. Just like how we feel the craving for a coffee in the morning. I'm sorry, let me somebody's sorry, it's a call from India. I had to because they kept calling me, I had to pick it up. Sorry. Yeah. All right, Greg.
Yeah, it calls to mind the idea of neti neti and the growing sense of knowing that as the mind moves from this to that it's neither this or that, it's something that calls you from beyond,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, that's right. Perfect. Yeah. That's a very good idea you brought up. This whole idea, this neti neti, the where this concept came is like when the seeds of the past, when they thought about God, they could not, like I just said, they could not put a finger on it. Is God is this? And then suddenly the answer is yes and no. Is God is that? The answer is yes and no. So how do you explain it? So it is neither that nor this. That's what neti neti means. It is neither that nor this. So, and some people have taken these words, translated these words very seriously, and they say, if you negate everything which comes to your mind, then you will find God. So they translated neti neti as negation rather than transcendence. And, when I spoke to those people, this whole neti neti idea, the way you translate it is you're putting too much pressure on your mind. You cannot negate every thought, every idea, every desire which comes to your mind. Too much pressure on your mind. So the whole idea of neti neti is transcendence rather than negation. Okay. So, but like I said, the way we translate, and that's where we are going to perceive it. That's where we're going to pursue it also. So that's why it's very important to have the right understanding. Yeah. So thank you, Cliff and Greg, for your comments and observations.
I would also possibly add that
Um,
in Daji's latest message, The Unlived Life, he brings attention to fear and what um, allows us to kind of see the other side of fear, which is more and more exposure to transmission that opens up for us something beyond fear, which may be the driving force in thinking even for a minute that this may be it or that may be it. But when there's more and more of that attraction to the inner state of transmission, that transcendent self, then there's less interest really in this or that.
right. Yes. And the transmission makes it evident for us. It's great. So thank you. Thank you all. So let me